Greetings from celebrity press once more. Secrets burst in front of your eyes. You like this video, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and leave your remarks in the speech and comments balloon. And remember to sign up for 4 more. Click the celebrity press bell. You're going to get some dynamite stories. If you believe the drama around Claressa Shields was disorganized earlier, reconsider. Due to the events in Las Vegas, all other scandals appear to be trivial. There is more to this than a fighter meeting. A former romantic interest. Oh no. This relates to covert passion, covert evenings, and the type of treachery that abandons even the toughest men. Claressa informed her she was traveling around the globe to visit Tony. She once referred to Rich as her rock. However, anonymous tips, leaked posts, and an unusual Instagram live timing reveal a darker narrative. The question is currently being asked by fans. Nobody wants an answer. Was Tony simply the comfortable alibi, the cover, the reason? But Lil was the actual destination. Are you tenacious? Because Claressa, sworn by insiders, appeared a bit too joyful in those Vegas evenings. What about the guy Papoose, who supported her and is now degraded in front of millions of people? If you were present at this location, with the same treachery and the same danger, how would you respond? Since this isn't only a scandal, it's comparable to Netflix. Tale of treachery with hints of abortion, pregnancy, and a filthy cover-up. Let's dissect everything and have faith. It becomes uglier for me. Shields, Claressa, always presented herself as indestructible. The world referred to her as the greatest lady of all time. What? But behind the championship's glitzy stage, grins and belts, there was a lady who was more proficient at the game and more filthy than her ring rivals. As you can see, as the cameras panned to Claressa, she wasn't fighting, and the lights were muted. For her competitors, she was battling her own perverted wants. And that battle was more repulsive than any knockdown she's ever had supplied. At one point, Tony Rich believed he had won the lotto. He was more than simply a guy. Beside Claressa and her, he was the man. Bed, the one she said in a lovely whisper, nothing to do with late-night triumphs. That was his belief, anyhow. For Tony, persuaded himself throughout the years that he wasn't only an additional chapter in the tale of Claressa. The headline was about him. However, in actuality, he was only a handy hiding place, a man she could run to at the beginning of her true life disintegrating. Their alleged intimate evenings. Fans now claim those didn't have anything to do with love. They were roughly Claressa is diverting her attention from the storm she was brewing in private. Come on in, Papoose, the rap artist and devoted husband. Veteran, the man who maintained his composure in every scandal storm prior to this one. However, loyalty, as demonstrated by innumerable stories from the sector, doesn't always purchase joy. For months, there were rumors regarding Claressa's discontent with Papoose. Additionally, as he carried in public, he acts like a king. Insiders asserted that she made fun of him privately, sending pals notes explaining how Vegas would make everything better. Repair or reveal? That is what's really important. Query. Since Vegas wasn't only a journey, it was a well-written tale. Claressa gave the impression that she was present. To get back in touch with her ex-lover Tony, her one-time getaway. Photographs taken by paparazzi of her arrival at the airport, the corny smile, the big-lensed sunglasses, everything was theater. However, the disclosures revealed otherwise. Story dims purportedly displayed Claressa sending Tony a text. We'll connect for a while, don't worry about it though. I received more issues to deal with. Other items. Indeed, those additional items were about to become the most popular website on the internet's scandal. When admirers saw her with Tony, it wasn't startling at all. That was the anticipated portion. However, the vitality, the additional spark, the light, was gone. Claressa appeared preoccupied. Some even claimed that she appeared bored, as if Tony was only one more thing on her list. Tony was brutally pulled by the internet. Bro believed. that he was the protagonist. However, he is only a side task. One read the popular tweet. He was ridiculed by another. Champ, she's grinning, but not at you. Await the revelation of her true partner. The first bombshell followed. Video from a blurry nightclub in Vegas. Claressa Shields is smiling just a little too harshly at the jokes of Lil Scrappy. The legendary Southern rap artist Scrappy, who has a past of crazy evenings and untidy entanglements, abruptly took on the name. Fans were unable to stop typing. That's not possible. Scrappy with Claressa. A single Instagram story, go through it. Tony, another follower, reposted the warm-up. Scrappy was the primary occasion. The rumors went haywire. Screenshots of alleged texts began soaring over blogs. I had to, while I was here, I saw you. One DM said, allegedly from Claressa to Scrappy. According to another, Tony doesn't even know I came for you. Regardless of whether they were genuine or false, it didn't even matter at this particular point. The story was already going viral. In the meanwhile, Tony Rich, the individual who thought he was a part of her fantasy tale in Vegas, was the last to find out. He was roasted by fans on the internet with images of him retaining Claressa's hand while she gazed at Scrappy over his shoulder. In the context, it was cruel humiliation. Tony is acting like a boyfriend while Claressa is engaged in a chess game. One vlog headline mocked, but it didn't stop there. Observing this circus unfold, Papoose was pulled further into the muck. His devotion turned into a joke. Pap was occupied with creating rhymes, and Claressa was sending Scrappy direct messages. A phony joked in a leaked tweet. Imagine being Pap, the remark said. It's protecting her reputation when she's out in Vegas for her actual work trip. Online anxiety was high, yet the rumors were much more repulsive behind closed doors. Rumor had it that Claressa wasn't merely making out with Scrappy. There were rumors of a pregnancy scare. A few stated that she told pals that things became unmanageable, while others vowed to make an appointment after coming back from Las Vegas, whether accurate or not. The tale grew into a story of desire, treachery, and concealments. Additionally, that's where this is where comparison comes in. Since this wasn't only rumors, this was a serious real-time scripted drama developing. Claressa assumes in Act 1 that Vegas is regarding Tony. Lil Scrappy steals in Act 2. The limelight. Additionally, in Act 3, the repercussions leave Tony embarrassed. The heritage of Claressa was destroyed by Papu, suspended from a thread. As an unnamed source put it, Claressa didn't go to Vegas for Tony. And she darn sure didn't take her for herself. She went for the rush. For the narrative and the type of evening it creates, headlines, and makes news. Produced. However, as soon as the dust began to suddenly, the blogs were attacked by another leak. A brief video, lasting only a few seconds, of Scrappy and Claressa departing a Vegas suite at 4 a.m., her beaming face, his arms wrapped lightly around her shoulders. It was insufficient evidence. However, it wasn't necessary. The internet had already determined its meaning, and Tony Rich's name was popular throughout the incorrect motives. One of my brothers was played in 4,000, a fan wrote. Another tweeted Tony thought he was penning a romantic tale. As it happens, he is just mentioned in passing on Netflix. Script. When the week was over, Tony was wiped out, not simply humiliated. The world didn't care about his reunion with Claressa any longer. All they cared about were the rumors of what actually happened between Lil, Scrappy, and her. Tony Papoose pulled Rich humiliated. Claressa and Lil were seen laughing. Tenacious. A month's worth of tea. However, no warming was the true scandal. Up, due to the fact that Vegas is what it is. What occurs there doesn't actually stay there. There's always someone talking. Additionally, this time screenshots were included with the whispers. Videos as well as an abundance of receipts that choked the internet. The initial bombshell was a purported direct message thread. between Claressa and one of her closest girlfriends. Exposed on a gossip website at Tattoo.am, it appeared to be a casual conversation, till the line is reached by the readers. I said I came, Tony, so that Pap wouldn't suspect? The true plan was to be Scrappy. Along within minutes, hashtags blew up. Hashtag Tenacious Shields, hash Tony the cover, hashtag PPLAYED once more. Fans poured in. Twitter, Tony is not being used by Claressa as a human shield skull. Additionally, Scrappy took the GWAT championship to a completely new level. Guidance. The second blow then arrived. Hazy yet realistic-looking footage of Scrappy and Claressa at a private lounge. She was seen in the video bending towards his hand, which remained in his ear. Giggling adhered to her waist. The background tunes silenced the discussion, but lips she remarked to the readers, Tony can't know. By the end of the video recently, a blogger posted, "Ignore the ring. Public speaking is Claressa's new sport." Shame. However, the controversy didn't stop whispering about intimacy. Out of an anonymous Reddit post appeared out of nowhere. Said that Claressa had been anxious due to a pregnancy scare in Vegas. The message purportedly from a person near. She was concerned, according to her medical circle. Made an appointment. It has nothing to do with Tony. It has nothing to do with Pap.compute. The math spreads like that term, wildfire. Images from the post-hit TikTok memes appeared all at once. Not the GWAT is up against a brand new foe. The test for pregnancy. 1. Tweet that went viral derided. Commentary that was sarcastic erupted. Everywhere on the internet. Because nothing shouts loyalty, she wrote, similar to a pregnancy scare in Vegas with you. You claimed that the rapper was only a buddy? Claressa, said Tony 4. Another person wrote, Scrappy for the vibes, the cameras, and multitasking for the paycheck. Pap Queen. To make matters worse, the blogs added fuel, and the media published a fake headline. Shield Claressa was seen at the Vegas clinic following a rough meeting. Naturally, nobody could demonstrate it, but nobody was interested. The narrative had momentum, and momentum in scandals is everything. In the meanwhile, Tony Rich he shared a happy selfie on social media to save face. Captioned, "The vacation to Vegas was enjoyable, regardless of what you all believe." The brutality of the comments section. We know, bro. You were not invited to the actual celebration. According to another, Tony's still composing captions while already being Scrappy. It's written history. Papoose was also quiet. Additionally, quiet. Supporters pleaded for an answer, but rather a mysterious Instagram tale surfaced. A dark screen with loyalty written on it means nothing to the faithless. That 1,000 hypotheses were generated by a single post was Claressa at issue. What? About Tony concerning Are You Tenacious? The uncertainty simply made the controversy hotter. In the meantime, Lil Scrappy leaned into the turmoil. He went live, drinking nonchalantly and laughing when the comments were flooded by supporters. Is that accurate? But Claressa's reply. A cunning, a single sentence, and a smile. You guys are always concerned about my partner. That was sufficient. It was crowned king of the Twitter. Scandal in Vegas. But everything became more gloomy. Further purported receipts came to light. AA Buddy's acquaintance revealed a purported Claressa's PayPal transaction to Tenacious.Vegas loves the note. Was it actual? Perhaps not. Was it significant? Not right now. Everything. AA was a hit among fans. There were memes, tenaciously carrying $1 notes with Claressa's loyalty check and similar captions cleared. Another depicted Tony sobbing with When You Discovered Vegas Love. You sent a text that wasn't about you. As soon as TMZ style, the controversy had changed and blogs were jumping in. It becomes a spectacle of humiliation that goes both ways. Items shouted Shield Scrappy, and the Tony Rich and the Vegas clinic rumor ends the quiet after it has been performed. Openly, Papoose was always in style. Someone made another joke about composing rhymes as Claressa composes DMIs. Then the most startling leak of all was an alleged audio snippet, to grainy but frightening minutes long. A female voice that sounds uncannily similar to someone hearing Claressa say, "I can't have it. I'll deal with this when it comes back to me." No one should be aware of it. Whether it was AI or real didn't make a difference. The internet determined it was her. Blogs made news. Claressa Shields is hiding. And she can't hide the secret about Vegas. The fans' responses were brutal. One phony crowd quote went viral. "Bro said they grabbed him because it was too much." One more of these is no longer boxing. It's a Netflix thriller. They weren't only chatting. They waited impatiently for the next twist. Tony Rich, so humiliated. Buy the Repair vanished from social media days. On a post, he last liked it. Regarding being aware of when you're the side personality, it was made into a meme by fans. Immediately, and right when everyone believed that the controversy had peaked, another name was mentioned. A murmur relationship. A shadow at the corner of the tale of Vegas. Someone out of the blue. Someone no one anticipated being connected to Shields, Claressa. Given that Scrappy was this subsequent twist was startling. Nuclear, however, right when we believed it to be, another name was mentioned. The Vegas memes should have brought the controversy to a close. Hazy videos from nightclubs and gossip website headlines. Usually, this is how these tales end. A little chuckle, a week of turmoil, after which everyone proceeds to the next meltdown of a star. Not this, though time. The Shield narrative of Claressa didn't fade. It became farther away, heavier and darker. More intimate, due to the fact that behind the internet and flashing cameras, real individuals were breaking with comments. Casualty was Tony Rich. Once shown as Claressa's devoted anchor, he turned into a joke about the chaotic storm. His not only was humiliation public, but it was permanent. Blogs continued to reuse memes of fans ripping him as the Vegas impersonator. Insults that ripped him up. The Uber was Tony, traveled to Scrappy's actual location. Even his commercial endeavors, the ones he proudly began with Claressa, began tanking. Deals fell through. Customers drew back. No one desired to be associated with the man who has been humiliated all across the world in 4K. Then Papoose appeared. Quiet fans conjectured for weeks that he was preparing a reaction, and when it eventually arrived, it wasn't a clapback or a song interview. It was terrible. A voice leak remark from a member of his social circle that was recorded has Papoose acknowledging that he is unable to resist this any longer. She crushed my heart. The sorrow became viral material in his tone. Memes made fun of him. He was torn apart by tweets. Pap received a knockout outside the ring. However, below, fans were aware that the sarcasm went deeper. His devotion and the years he spent protecting her were all destroyed in one weekend in Vegas, and Claressa briefly attempted to keep your cool. Selfies with smiles, gym videos, and articles about concentrating on excellence. However, the fissures were apparent. The pregnancy. Rumors that were released an abortion would not abandon her. False medical invoices began to circulate. Screenshots of the alleged appointment verifications and unnamed companions saying in a whisper that she had managed it silently, assuming that half of it was the public didn't care that it was fake. In the court of social justice, the tale became fact. Media, in contrast, Lil Scrappy flourished. Leaning into the confusion, joking on Instagram and laughing during interviews. And live performances, he even released a freestyle in which he said, "Vegas nights, no regrets." It was implied. The fans loved it. I'm upset because I'm not pressed up. Scrappy emerged as the spokesperson for the scandal. Not degraded, not ruined, but higher. Scrappy entered with vibes, left with a gwat, and one became viral. Tweet stated, but the most surprising turn was still to come. as the narrative was another name emerged: cooling. A blogger made a suggestion that Claressa's Vegas Scrappy wasn't the only one in the circle. Screenshots showing her conversing with another person in the A. Industry linked. Someone strong, someone the internet went into a tailspin. Was this more than a single fling? Claressa's web weaving in hip-hop and athletics? Whispers became complete conjecture. She did more than simply embarrass Tony. She's constructing something else. Pap, completely, some claimed. It was retaliation for years of being disregarded in industries that are controlled by men. Thought it was outright irresponsibility, desiring attention at any cost. In any case, Claressa turned into a part anti-hero heroine on Netflix. Part victim, part villain, all controversy. The consequences extended beyond the internet. Rumors started to circulate. One gossip website said Tony was thinking about getting a lawyer. Action for emotional distress and slander anguish following its usage as a ruse. Papoose was whispered by another to be drafting divorce documents, but no confirmation ever came to light. In the meanwhile, Claressa's group remained quiet, releasing no declarations, escalating the craze rather than killing it. Quietness following can be the loudest reaction of all. There was an obvious emotional cost. Claressa's once confident demeanor halted. When she eventually made a comeback, her tone was defensive throughout an interview. Uncertain. People don't know the truth. Avoiding direct inquiries, she stated. But the issue is with scandals. That spread so far, the truth is no longer important. The perception turns into reality. Now, Claressa's world was marked by humiliation, treachery, and rumors of cover-ups. But right when supporters believed the narrative had reached its climax, it one final surprise. An unidentified Claressa allegedly went off-grid, according to the source. Following Vegas, no sightings, no posts, and no conflicts were declared, and she vanished into stillness. She was reportedly regrouping. Some others claim she was jogging, but the last passage that surfaced from a purported the darkest image yet was drawn by a buddy. She disappeared without a trace. However, the problem is that the secret remained. About Vegas, the lights may go down, but even when the music ends, the darkness persists. Claressa's controversy wasn't your typical one. Untidy tabloid tale, which turned into the warning about treachery in the Papoose. Tony left the spotlight. Shattered, Scrappy left, smiling, left broken. She left a puzzle for Claressa. Here it is. The controversy in Vegas. It engulfed all those in its path. The world's greatest woman, Claressa Shields, crowned the GWAT, abruptly overthrown by her own choices. Papoose, Tony Rich, left embarrassed. Broken in, quiet, Lil Scrappy smiling his way to fame on the internet, and the disappearance of Claressa herself. Into thin air. This wasn't only rumors. Betrayal on steroids, an outrageous scandal Netflix could get envious of. But the true question is, what happens next? Does Tony clap back at last? Does Papoose reveal everything in a lawsuit? Tuss? Come back with a diss track. Startling return, changing the story once more. Because if history has imparted knowledge to us, it is that these stories change and evolve throughout time. Twist, then blow up again by thinking regarding it. If you were Tony, used as a pretext, ridiculed in memes, what was deleted by the lady you trusted? If you were Papoose, what would you do? Supporting someone who broke, would you remain mute and turn your allegiance into dust, or rectify the situation? And if you were Claressa, seeing all of your legacy burn beneath the scandals, wait, what would you do to get better? The internet, of course, never forgets. And this is celebrity press. We don't either. It's the only location where secrets don't simply leak. They blow up. The story of Vegas isn't even close to being finished. Another name is already permeating the blogs and whispers. There's another twist in the shadows for the ideal opportunity to detonate. In your opinion, did Claressa play her most important game? Her career? Or did she simply pen the conclusion to her own demise? Stop thinking about it in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. Press the button and pay attention because the following chapter is on the way, and believe me, you do not want to miss.